Cleveland Browns didn't just lose Sunday night. They committed viewership suicide on live television. The numbers don't lie. Nielsen data shows a 40% audience collapse the moment Joe Flacco's name appeared as starter, with Shedeur Sanders benched for reasons nobody understands. That's not a ratings dip. That's a mass exodus, the kind broadcasters have nightmares about, the kind that costs millions and ends careers. People tuned in expecting Sanders, that electric, game-changing playmaker who transforms boring matchups into must-watch television. Instead, they got Flacco jogging onto the field for the opening drive like it was 2015. Twitter couldn't process the volume. Instagram flooded with rage. TikTok creators posted turning off the game videos that racked up millions of views instantly. But the numbers told an even darker story. One broadcast executive, speaking off the record, said it perfectly. When Shedeur's not playing, people simply don't care. We're not discussing a marginal ratings decline. We're witnessing complete viewer exodus unprecedented in modern broadcasting. Another network analyst reportedly stated during an internal meeting that the Browns aren't just benching their franchise quarterback, they're benching the entire Sunday night revenue model. This isn't just about football anymore. This is economic catastrophe rippling through multiple industries at once. The NFL built a billion-dollar empire on consistent viewership, predictable engagement, reliable advertising dollars. Suddenly, one team's stubborn coaching decision threatens the entire foundation. When a marquee primetime matchup loses 40% of viewers mid-broadcast, every network executive, every league official, every franchise owner notices immediately. Then social media exploded. This wasn't typical fan frustration. This was coordinated rebellion. Hashtags like #play Shedeur, #fire Stefanski, and #worse no Shedeur. No Watch dominated trending algorithms throughout the entire broadcast window. Fans posted screenshots documenting the exact moment they stopped watching. Some demanded refunds for NFL Sunday ticket subscriptions. Others organized boycotts threatening continued disengagement until Sanders returns. The discourse turned hostile, targeting Stefanski personally, questioning his competence, demanding immediate termination. One viral tweet accumulated 3 million impressions within 2 hours. The Browns without Shedeur are unwatchable. We're done until February 12 is back. This isn't football. It's organizational malpractice. Another widely circulated post. Just canceled my Game Pass subscription. Not spending money watching Joe Flacco manage games into oblivion while the future sits helplessly on sidelines. One executive said what everyone was thinking. But here's the twist nobody anticipated. Traditional Cleveland supporters, lifelong Browns fans who endured decades of disappointment, joined the exodus. These weren't bandwagon Sanders fans arriving for spectacle. These were the core audience foundation that maintained loyalty through countless quarterback disasters, coaching changes, front office failures. Their departure signals something far more troubling than typical frustration. Sources suggest season ticket holders began listing seats on secondary markets mid-game. Local sports bars reported customers requesting channel changes during the Browns broadcast. This represents unprecedented franchise abandonment, unless it wasn't about football at all. Let's examine the game itself, because viewership collapse occurred alongside competitive disaster. Flacco struggled mightily against Detroit's aggressive defensive scheme. His conservative approach produced predictable results: 3-and-outs, field goal attempts, punts pinning the Browns deep. Meanwhile, the Lions' offense dominated possession, exploited Cleveland's demoralized defense, built an insurmountable lead before halftime. The contrast couldn't be starker. Detroit's quarterback delivered explosive plays, maintained tempo, generated highlight reel moments. Flacco managed handoffs, checked down relentlessly, avoided risks obsessively. By third quarter, the outcome was determined. Lions cruising comfortably, Browns' offense sputtering helplessly. Viewership metrics reportedly showed continuous decline throughout the second half. People weren't switching channels, seeking competitive games elsewhere. According to sources, they simply stopped watching football entirely. Netflix viewership spiked. YouTube engagement increased. Streaming platforms reported unusual Sunday evening traffic patterns. The NFL lost audiences not merely to competition, but to complete disengagement. The leak changed everything. Stefanski's post-game press conference became instant disaster. When questioned about benching Sanders, despite catastrophic performance, his response generated immediate backlash. "Joe gives us the best opportunity for winning," Stefanski stated mechanically. Reporters erupted. One journalist asked directly, "Coach, viewership collapsed 40% today. Fans are demanding refunds. How do you respond?" Stefanski deflected awkwardly, citing internal evaluations and competitive decisions. His discomfort was visible, his answers unconvincing, his authority crumbling publicly. ESPN's Sunday Night Countdown dedicated an entire segment analyzing the situation's unprecedented nature. Veteran analysts debated whether Stefanski survives the season. One respected commentator stated bluntly, "Kevin's not just losing games. He's costing the league money. That's unforgivable in the modern NFL." Another analyst suggested front offices tolerate competitive struggles, but don't tolerate ratings, disasters affecting revenue sharing, broadcast negotiations, sponsor commitments. But it gets worse. League executives reportedly convened emergency discussions Monday morning. According to sources familiar with conversations, the commissioner's office expressed serious concerns regarding the Browns' handling of Sanders. The NFL operates as an entertainment business first, competitive sports league second. When individual franchise decisions impact league-wide viewership metrics, intervention becomes inevitable. Network partners are particularly concerned. They invested billions securing broadcast rights, anticipating consistent audience engagement. Sanders represented ratings gold, a generational talent attracting demographics typically disengaged from traditional football broadcasts. His benching doesn't merely affect Cleveland's local market, but national viewership patterns, primetime scheduling decisions, advertising rate negotiations. Sources claim network executives contacted league offices expressing frustrations, requesting explanations, suggesting potential scheduling adjustments to minimize Brown's national television appearances moving forward. The fallout didn't stop there. Major brands invested heavily connecting products with Sanders' marketability. His absence affects endorsement value, commercial production schedules, activation strategies targeting younger consumers. One marketing executive, speaking confidentially, stated, "Shedeur drives engagement metrics we haven't witnessed since early Mahomes years. When he's benched, our entire campaign strategy requires re-evaluation." Another brand representative reportedly expressed concerns during internal meetings about paying premium rates for Brown's inventory while expecting Sanders' star power, only to be associated with organizational dysfunction and declining viewership instead. Locker room dynamics reveal immediate recognition of implications. Veterans understand television revenue funds salary caps, determines contract values, influences free agency markets. When Brown's decisions crater viewership affecting league-wide economics, players throughout the NFL pay attention immediately. Sources suggest several Cleveland veterans privately question coaching staff's stubbornness. One offensive lineman allegedly stated during a closed-door meeting, "We're not just losing games. We're losing fans, money, and credibility. How long does this continue?" Defensive players reportedly express frustrations differently. Recognizing Sanders' absence affects offensive production, forcing defenses onto fields excessively, creating impossible competitive situations. Stefanski's press conference became a disaster. Sanders himself maintains remarkable professionalism amid chaos. Sources close to the quarterback describe his approach as methodical, focused, unshakable. He arrives early, participates fully in practices, supports teammates publicly, avoids media controversies. Yet his demeanor reportedly shifted following Sunday's benching. People familiar with the situation suggest visible frustration emerged during sideline sequences. Television cameras captured moments showing Sanders shaking his head, gesturing toward fields, discussing situations intensely with offensive coordinators. His body language communicated messages words couldn't express publicly. Behind scenes, Sanders' representation reportedly explores options. While trade requests remain unlikely given rookie contract status, conversations regarding the franchise's long-term commitment intensify. One agent familiar with the situation stated, "Organizations reveal priorities through actions. Cleveland sending clear messages about Shedeur's value. That information guides future decisions. Future draft classes observe Cleveland's dysfunction. Elite quarterback prospects potentially avoid Browns during pre-draft processes. Free agents recognize organizational instability, question front office competence, demand premium compensation for accepting Cleveland offers." The franchise reputation is damaged irreparably through mishandling Sanders' situation. Recovering from this debacle requires years rebuilding credibility, demonstrating stability, proving commitment toward player development. Consider Stefanski's position deteriorating rapidly. His authority undermined publicly, his decisions questioned universally, his future uncertain indefinitely. Sources suggest ownership conducts comprehensive evaluations, examining coaching performance, organizational alignment, competitive outcomes. While public statements express continued support, private conversations reportedly explore contingency planning, potential replacements, timing considerations. Stefanski understands professional reality. Coaches survive losing when maintaining fan engagement, organizational stability, player support. He's losing all three simultaneously. 3 scenarios, all catastrophic. Jimmy Haslam faces an impossible situation. His public support for Sanders is well documented. His frustration with coaching decisions is barely concealed. Yet firing a head coach mid-season creates additional instability, admits organizational failure, resets competitive timelines indefinitely. Sources claim Haslam is privately furious following Sunday's viewership disaster. One executive familiar with ownership mindset stated, "Jimmy's not merely upset about losing. He's concerned about franchise value, fan engagement, league relationships. This situation affects everything. Front office personnel navigate treacherous waters." Andrew Berry's reputation was built upon analytical decision-making, talent evaluation, organizational management. Sanders' benching undermines his draft strategy, questions his quarterback assessment, reveals disconnect between personnel decisions and coaching implementation. Sources suggest Berry advocated strongly for Sanders' return, presenting data supporting change, emphasizing competitive advantages, highlighting developmental considerations. His recommendations were reportedly ignored, creating organizational friction intensifying weekly. Fan perspective drives everything. Cleveland supporters endured unimaginable quarterback disappointment across decades, draft busts, free agency disasters, trading mistakes, developmental failures. Sanders represented hope, excitement, genuine franchise quarterback possibility. His benching feels like betrayal, organizational incompetence repeating predictably, another wasted opportunity squandered needlessly. Their frustration is legitimate, their anger justified, their abandonment understandable. Social media campaigns organize rapidly. Fan groups coordinate viewing boycotts, attendance protests, merchandise returns. One organizer explained, "This movement's purpose isn't abandoning the Browns. We're demanding accountability, competent leadership, respect for fans' intelligence. Playing an inferior quarterback while benching generational talent represents organizational disrespect we won't tolerate." Here's what happens next. National media coverage intensifies dramatically. Major sports networks dedicate entire programming blocks analyzing Browns' dysfunction. Podcasts explore organizational failure from multiple angles. Written content dissects decision-making processes, evaluates coaching competence, questions ownership interference. The Browns became a cautionary tale, an organizational case study, a league-wide warning regarding consequences when personnel decisions conflict with business realities. Former players weigh in universally. Retired quarterbacks question Stefanski's stubbornness. Legendary coaches suggest organizational intervention is necessary. Hall of Fame executives recommend immediate changes. Their commentary carries weight, influences public perception, pressures current leadership toward corrective action. One former Super Bowl winning coach stated during a television appearance, "Kevin's coaching himself out of a job." When you're losing games and losing viewers simultaneously, your runway disappears quickly. Don't assume resolution emerges easily. Multiple scenarios exist, none representing ideal outcomes. Scenario 1. Stefanski relents, starts Sanders next week, attempts salvaging the season amid irreparable damage. Scenario 2. Ownership intervenes, mandates quarterback change, undermines coaching authority permanently. Scenario 3. Browns maintain current course, accept continued viewership decline, competitive struggles, organizational dysfunction. Each path forward presents significant complications affecting franchise trajectory for years. League observers suggest Cleveland's situation represents an inflection point for the modern NFL as an entertainment business, prioritizing viewership engagement over traditional competitive autonomy. Television networks reportedly adjust Browns' future scheduling. According to sources familiar with broadcast planning, Cleveland faces potential relegation from primetime slots, marquee matchup considerations, nationally televised games. Networks protect investments, minimize exposure to ratings disasters, prioritize matchups featuring reliable audience engagement. This represents unprecedented consequences for the Browns, reducing visibility, diminishing recruiting advantages, signaling organizational irrelevance. Ticket sales face predictable decline. Secondary market prices dropping significantly. Corporate suite renewals questioned. Season ticket waiting lists evaporating. Local businesses depending upon game day revenue express concerns. Cleveland's economy is partially dependent upon Browns' success. Fan engagement, competitive relevance. Organizational dysfunction affects communities beyond sports, impacting employment, tourism, civic pride. Reality check. This disaster was entirely preventable. Play your best quarterback. Maximize competitive advantage. Generate fan excitement. Maintain viewership engagement. Instead, Cleveland chose organizational stubbornness over common sense, competitive logic, business realities. The consequences were predictable, yet still shocking in severity. Browns entered this season expecting playoff contention, defensive dominance, offensive innovation. Instead, they're discussing viewership craters, coaching hot seats, organizational dysfunction, all because they won't play the quarterback everyone wants watching. This represents catastrophic failure, requiring immediate intervention before situations deteriorate further. The only question remaining: how long before someone establishes organizational sanity? One thing certain, this story isn't over. More leaks are coming, more decisions loom, more damage awaits. Subscribe so you don't miss the next shocking chapter. Hit that notification bell, because when this franchise finally implodes completely, you'll want front row seats. Drop a comment below telling me who gets fired first, Stefanski or Barry, because somebody's head is rolling soon.